Yes, a large crowd in this evening to see the game's biggest box office attraction, Ronnie O'Sullivan, 2 days on from that defeat to Judd Trump. And Jimmy Robertson, his opponent here in Manchester this evening. O'Sullivan seems in a pretty relaxed frame of mind coming into this. He admitted Judd Trump had been the better player in their Bucharest final. Still ran him close, led 8-6 of course before losing 9-8. They've only played once before these two. It was last season.
First frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan on the way to winning the Welsh Open beat Jimmy Robertson 4-0. Once again, this is best of 7.
Be interesting to see how he plays so soon after the other event, because over the years, as we know, he seems to play his best snooker when relatively fresh. That break-off shot, the red has strayed down the table to give Jimmy Robertson something to go at straight away. The worry there was, of course, the cue was careering into the bunch. And I guess they have to go in against anybody, but especially against someone as good as Ronnie O'Sullivan. But I think you're right, he seems upbeat and he seems as if he's taken positives from that defeat, which is, I know is a cliche, take the positives, but Ronnie wouldn't very often be positive in defeat. He sets very high standards, but I think another thing to say is he respects the man who beat him in that final. He's a big fan of Judd Trump. I think the snooker player plays a game that he likes watching, not necessarily in Bucharest when he's knocking in the winning balls, maybe. Always great to see the Rocket playing, isn't it?
Yeah, you're always guaranteed an atmosphere, and it's the biggest crowd we've had by far so far in this tournament. Turned out to see him.
7.
Already trying to create, even the opening red was tight to get the pink in play, and now where he's finished, it seems the black will go. Wow, that really will open up the table, which was a little bit clogged up from the shot that Robertson missed. Must be tight, this. Yes, clearly black first. Red shifted away from there.
15.
One of the great arts of watching O'Sullivan build breaks is how he does play key shots early to make high value colours available, where other players will just wait and get to 40 or 50 occasionally before they'll play the shot to free up the difficult shots. Plays all the right options when in amongst the balls. Wonderful break builder.
21. .22.
Well, he did look rusty in Shanghai. He hadn't played on the circuit since the World Championship, but the cobwebs were blown away last week in Romania, where he produced some really good snooker on the way to the final. As yes, Colin Humphries, the referee, to clean the cue ball. This £1 million bonus for winning all 4 tournaments is interesting, because everyone is simultaneously playing it down and also talking about it pretty much all the time backstage. Comes up in every conversation.
And certainly 127 players will have played it down to the point where they can't win it at the end of this one. Someone's still in the hunt. But I think the significance of that is there's probably 6 players that, should they win this week, could make it interesting at least. Whether they can win all 4, I would think that's one of the great achievements of the game if it happened. But it's there. The carrot has been dangled for somebody.
45.
Mark Selby was asked about it after his match. He said there's only one man he thinks can do it,
46.
and that's the man at the table now, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
But he does have the fear factor in his favour. That's not in itself enough to beat players. But there's an argument that there's a few players on the tour mightn't fancy beating O'Sullivan, especially because he's quite intimidating
53.
as to how good he is. Makes you feel inadequate out there sometimes. Players like that always do.
54.
So that's part of the battle. But, we just have to see what happens. These titles should also be taken individually as important, I think.
Yes, and in terms of the intimidation factor, the annoyance for Jimmy Robertson here is he had a
59.
chance from the break-off shot. Ronnie O'Sullivan left him a chance. Might not get another now, though, in this frame.
60.
Yeah, I don't think a chance is going to come his way. A little potential nudge on the red there. In fact, he just come up to the red. He's almost there.
67.
75 on, but that goes down by 8 points. Now the red's been potted
68.
with more than 67 left.
Well, this has been a quick kill. 5.5 minutes for this frame. And just a bit of mopping up to do, possibly a century. Either way, it's going to be 1-0 to Ronnie O'Sullivan.
I think he'll appreciate the conditions, because most players I've heard coming off this table, this show table, have said it's been playing beautifully. I know that they should all play the same, but they don't all play the same.
81.
But this seems to be conducive to good play and good
82.
snooker. All about the cloth and the conditions, the pockets. And they all work. These guys play at their very best.
89. 90.
He's a little bit straight on this to get a nice angle on his next intended red. That's a pity. I think
97.
the double to the left middle here is the only way to keep the break alive. Great start though.
Certainly was. 97, that frame didn't even last 7 minutes. Ronnie O'Sullivan up and running here in Manchester this evening. He looks in great nick, and he leads 1-0. First to 4, he's through to the second round. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Jimmy Robertson 1-0, a break of 97
Jimmy Robertson to break.
to win the opening frame. Robertson had one chance, O'Sullivan broke off, he left a red to the middle, Robertson missed it, and that was that.
As it comes back, Dave, to what I was saying about the intimidation factor which can play a part in matches. When you're up against someone with extreme talent, which no one has ever played this game who's more talented than that man. And you do feel that you've probably got to concentrate on what you do well, what you're good at. Never going to outshine O'Sullivan in the break building department. But there are ways that he can be beaten. Of course, he does get beaten.
Yes, he was beaten in nail-biting fashion on Sunday by Judd Trump. In the break between frames, he was actually cutting his own nails. There's always something with Ronnie, isn't there? That's the fascination. It's not just how good a player he is. There's always a sense of some sort of drama around him.
Keen to get this red away from the black to keep it open. He wouldn't want to get involved in a battle which didn't involve all the high-value colours being in play. So that's why he played that shot. Certainly with the red in bulk, close to the top left pocket, you'd expect most of the safety to be with the cue ball coming back to this end, which is how some frames develop early on. I mean, there might be a place at the other end of the table that you can keep things safe. Looking now over there, which is left of the bulk line on the left side. He's not going to cause too many problems to Jimmy Robertson, I don't think. But at least he can play it safe. I think Robertson probably will push that red back down the table now. We get a more authentic beginning.
Jimmy Robertson, much improved actually over the last year. He's up to his highest ever ranking of 34, but he had one setback recently qualifying for the European Masters. He was 3-0 up to John Higgins in the second round of qualifying, so frame away from getting to Romania, and lost 4-3. Higgins came back to beat him, so imagine that would have taken a bit of getting over. I'd say that actually later in the same week he beat Bradley Jones 6-0 to qualify for the International Championship, so he did bounce back from it.
Fine safety shot from Ronnie, who, as we know, has got that string to his bow as well, tactically. That cue ball is nailed to the cushion. Very limited in what Jimmy Robertson could do there, containing safety, but the trouble with that is you'd expect his next shot to be in more trouble. Somewhere in behind the yellow. That's a good shot. That's where he's got to keep O'Sullivan. Playing with his hand off the cushion, bulk cushion. But unfortunately, he comes back with an even better shot. That's a beauty. He's going to say that left-hand side of the table completely cut off. And Jimmy Robertson is in big trouble here. Sometimes the little tactical exchanges can be missed. But that was not a fluke that O'Sullivan got the cue ball there. You can just get to one red with a touch of side. And that's always going to be the problem. Blue is in the way. Half a mistake made could be costly. It's not the easiest to get to, this one. Sullivan is also a fine rest player. It sounded like he can do everything. He just about can, but of course the fact that he plays a lot of shots left-handed means he doesn't use it all that often, but when he does, he's pretty effective. Over the years, players have played with their opposite hand because they're not good rest players. It's not really the case. When he does it because he can do it.
So
12.
Sullivan back in. There's a cracking match on table 2 as well tonight. Ali Carter, who's our guest yesterday in the commentary box in the studio, he's up against Luca Brissell from Belgium. It's live on the Eurosport Player.
$19. $20.
Well, he won the safety battle He's already made a 97 in frame one. He looks bang up for this this evening. There's no sort of hangover from what happened at the weekend.
28.
Well, still going with a couple of options.
35.
Faultless O'Sullivan. 100% pot success. And that's
36.
37 out of 37. Top marks. Was poor Jimmy Robertson on 0% is a bit harsh. Just that one pot that he went for his opening shot, which he didn't pot, and that's, we're talking about those sort of margins.
$42.
Seems to be a little bit spoilt for choice. It's not so much about the red that he plays, it's a question of which colour he can get on. Moving just down the table here is one way of keeping the break alive.
43.
And the class of O'Sullivan is evident. Perfect, absolutely beautifully judged.
47. 48.
Now that one just slightly underscrewed. I think the pink is still available.
$54. 55.
But it's not been an entirely straightforward break, as we've seen. Regular visits to the bulk end to keep the break going. Requiring different kind of concentration to a usual sort of break that he would make. Wow. Maybe there he was thinking too much about
Ronnie
the pot.
O'Sullivan, 55.
He has missed. Maybe really disappointed. Ronnie O'Sullivan almost disgusted, but I don't think he thought he could have missed that one, and his mind was on something else. The next shot.
Well.
So Jimmy Robertson pots his first ball of the evening. A chance I'm sure he wasn't expecting to get. Sat in his chair.
$8.
And it's already gone a bit awkward. Didn't like the contact there. Well, in the end, he dropped that in pretty nonchalantly.
Yeah, maybe too nonchalantly there on the next shot, because that was a quite poorly played cannon. In fact, he couldn't really have played it any worse
15.
to finish where he has. It's very thin, screwing the cue ball, whipping it round the angles here. Good recovery, very good. On occasion, you don't want the cue ball to go tight under the bulk cushion, which it has done. Now it's become a slightly tricky shot. Unless he plays the double, the break ends here.
20.
And the double is not the right shot either, so at least he's spotted a few, and at least he's still in the frame. But a good safety shot is absolutely
Jimmy Robertson,
vital.
20.
Well done.
One.
Well, he's had a look to see if he can get on that right red. But there's only a very small area, I think, where that would be possible. It goes too far, it's covered by the other red. This must be very tight.
8.
Maybe he can just get through, but it's not an easy pot.
9.
Well, there'll be some frame to win. He's never really been in the frame, or indeed the match, until that last visit to the table. Another one that has to go in, but they have been going in along that cushion rail when hit properly. They're meant
16.
to, but some tables are playing tighter than others. At pace, it makes it a little bit more missable. And that was never going to go.
Jimmy Robertson,
Managed
16.
to get the cover up, though, as the second prize.
No, as you say, never looked in that. Well, anxious looks there from Ronnie O'Sullivan as the red went towards the corner. Yes, he could still cut it in. A camera flash actually went off just before he played that shot. It didn't put him off.
Well, the yellow and brown close together has made things awkward. He's got an absolutely cast iron snooker if he wanted to just drop the blue onto the green, but he would rather win the frame without O'Sullivan coming back to the table. But that option is there if he needs it.
Jimmy Robertson.
Interesting
1.
shot. I mean, I thought you could see enough of the brown to maybe play the brown and get onto the yellow, but he was trying yellow, followed by yellow again, which looked tough to me. He's got to screw back and avoid left middle on this shot. Missed 2 now. Now here, Ronnie might see this as a chance to get the cue ball in behind quite a big target up there with the brown, green and blue all fairly close to each other. Might be playing the touch of side, because he could play to pot the yellow as well. Well, that's not a very good shot at all from O'Sullivan. That's a bad misjudgment.
Well, ever since he missed that brown, he's been a little all at sea, O'Sullivan. And Robertson, of course, will pick up on that and knows this is his chance to strike.
Two.
This was the brown. He was going along nicely on 55 at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it just a lapse. Just thinking ahead of himself too far, I think.
Jimmy Robertson, 2.
Some good fortune there, but a very easy escape. Jimmy with left-hand side, maybe hitting this green from behind like that. He didn't really catch it full enough on. It's not an O'Sullivan sort of frame now, this, is it? Down on the colours, a little bit scrappy. He can win them, obviously, but it doesn't really suit him. That 1 or 2 errors have crept in. There's another shot that was very risky. I mean, to play the snooker behind the brown with pretty apparent the green was going to go close to one of the corner pockets, not good. Maybe tried too much that time.
Three.
Anywhere but there. Goodness me, that's very unlucky. Just bouncing out of that position in behind the brown, and I suspect he would have won the frame. That was bad luck.
Jimmy Robertson, 3.
Well, a few people were applauding. They thought the brown was going in, but it stayed out. It's gone safe. O'Sullivan leading by 13, so needs brown and blue.
You get the feeling whoever pots the brown wins the frame. No obvious reason why not. The lead that O'Sullivan's got of 13 points is pretty slender. Where the balls are. Not the double kiss. Anything but that. He's gifted the frame to O'Sullivan.
Four.
And that really was a gift, Dave. Just to disappoint Jimmy Moore. He just clawing his way back into the match, wasn't he?
Well, it's almost as if you feel it would be better for him if O'Sullivan had not missed on 55, just made another big break, because he had chances there. I mean, for a while there, O'Sullivan was there for the taking. He was really struggling, but he's won the frame.
15 frames.
And he can do that even when he's not at his brilliant best. So 2 contrasting frames, but they've both gone to Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's halfway to victory here in Manchester this evening. He leads Jimmy Robertson 2-0. Welcome back to Event City Manchester, day 2 of the Coral English Open, the first event of the new Snooker Home Nation Series. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Jimmy Robertson 2-0, first to 4 to reach the last 64.
Yes, and O'Sullivan for a frame and a half of those 2 frames played really well. Just lost his way towards the end. Presented with an easy chance to win the second frame, but again, that red just drifts up the table from the break-off, something to work on. It's almost a carbon copy of frame one. And Robertson gets it this time, and I think he's on the pink.
One.
Don't really know how that red does go up the table from the break. It happens to us all sometimes, because the cue ball has gone around in the way that he meant. Just seems to, sometimes it's the way the balls are set up or something like that. Wow.
Jimmy Robertson, 1.
On a club table with more nap on the cloth, then that would have probably just dropped down enough for that to go in. In super fine cloths, it just stayed at the far jaw and saw the rest.
One.
He really hit that well. I mean, the angle wasn't perfect to play that screw shot
4.
down for the Reds. It wasn't straight on the green at all. Again, O'Sullivan thinking about the high value colours, how he's going to get them out into play.
5.
Black goes, but what he's looking for is a way of getting the Reds above it, out of the way. I think he's got the chance to do so here. Master of the little cannon. Almost the same as in frame 2. Almost forgot the pot, thinking about position. Concentration divided. It's another
13.
good shot, that is. Exactly how played. Little cannon.
$18. 19.
The trophy for this English Open has been named in honour of the great Steve Davis, 6 times world champion in the 1980s. O'Sullivan currently tied with Davis and John Higgins on 28 career ranking titles.
27.
Of course, had the chance to go past them at the weekend, just fell short against Trump. Stephen Hendry still out in front on 36. The Nugget himself, Mr. Davis, will be here on Sunday
34.
to hand over the trophy, so that would be a special moment because he was Ronnie's boyhood idol.
35.
Taking a weekend off from DJing, which of course is what Steve does now, Neil.
Just thinking that, yes, must have a little gap in his diary to get back to his snookering roots, which I know he actually holds in great regard. He's doing
42.
what he wants to do with his life now, having had a whole career in snooker, and he's still involved, of course, in the media.
43.
One of the legends for me of snooker. Here's another one, though, at the table now. Yes, I think it's good. These have all been played with recognition.
50.
Of course, the one in Belfast, the Irish Open, named after Alex Higgins, isn't it, that event? He's got a strong mention there, the late Alex Higgins, much missed in the game, brought a little colour to the game. And a bit of
51.
controversy, there's no getting away from it.
He brought a lot of people to it as well, as indeed does Ronnie O'Sullivan, who is closing in on 3-0. It could have been a different story for Jimmy Robertson had he not missed that pink. It could have been a different
56.
story had he won the second frame.
Indeed, and there was his little window of opportunity, I thought. I don't think he saw that chance coming, you know. That was the problem. But it
57.
did arrive. when you're sitting in your chair watching O'Sullivan playing all these shots, you just think, well, that's another frame gone. And all of a sudden he does miss because he's not a machine. You've got to be ready in your concentration. I don't think Jimmy was quite ready, actually. Not there yet. A red will be enough.
62.
For snookers to be needed for that man.
Yeah, he's worked so hard for this break. And in goes the red. Black to make sure. The black stays out.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 63.
So he's 62 in front with 59 on.
Yeah, there was no applause for that break, which I thought was a fine break of 63, but you expect so much.
1. Jimmy Robertson 1.
Needed
Frame
that in,
conceded,
and he's conceded the frame.
Ronnie
So,
O'Sullivan.
well, it's back to business as usual for O'Sullivan after the close, rather scrappy second frame. He's dominated the third. That break of 63 puts him within 1. He leads 3-0. Ronnie O'Sullivan 3, Jimmy Robertson 0. That's the score here at Event City in Manchester. Robertson to break in frame 4. They've only played once before. That was a whitewash at the Welsh Open. O'Sullivan looking to repeat the job here. Well, already first shot, O'Sullivan lining one up.
Yes, and he's already got up from the shot once and he shook his head. He's not entirely comfortable with it. Maybe it's where the cue ball might finish. I don't think he believed it was a natural to get onto the black. He's managed it to an extent. But the pot went in as clean as a whistle.
Yes, a very good black as well from where he was.
8.
All those threats to retire down the years, thank goodness he didn't follow through with them. Be a bit like Shakespeare hanging up his quill. When you're this talented, he did, of course, take a year out, just about, then came back and won the World Championship again.
16.
And you're always looking for signs of decline in any
17.
sportsman, whatever they do. Snooker players have gone that way as they age, but I think he still plays the game beautifully. The only way that he, perhaps at this stage of his career, might struggle would be with motivation more than anything else, because all of
24.
the tools are still there that he's always had, all the abilities
25.
to play, break building. He'll be looking to stay around the black spot from here. Temptation will be pretty great to keep going. Not taking any low-value colours. It'll all hinge on when he does go into the bunch. 32. He may have the chance to do so at this point.
33.
Never get a better chance. Let's see what they spread like. Well, for him, it's a shame that red doesn't go
40.
to the right middle. The pink's in the way. So what does he do? Does he try and keep going with colours other than the black? It's the right shot. There's no real way he could try to run for a 7 there, showing respect to his opponent. He knows Jimmy Robertson's a good player. And sometimes when you mess around with, as we call it, the snooker gods, and you take a liberty, then you're punished for it.
Well, he's not far from wrapping this up, and he's going to be in our studio, assuming he does. And if you want to ask him anything, then it's hashtag Home Nations. So hashtag Home Nations, put your questions to the rocket.
44. 45.
I think it's apparent he still enjoys playing, particularly in front of a big crowd in an occasion like this. It's maybe some of the stuff around the edges of tournaments, the travelling, the hanging about, everyone wanting a piece of you, that can get old, but playing snooker, still loves it.
50.
Yes, of course, it's 51. A very quick turnaround from Bucharest on Sunday. I mean, I was already up here in Manchester watching that final and admiring both players. Judd Trump winning by the odd frame, but had to travel back. Saw Ronnie briefly earlier on, and he said, I'm a bit tired, understandably. But he's not played like that. He's very sharp.
58.
Just the odd little laps here or there, maybe because he's a bit weary. I think Judd was very similar. In fact, it was quite a similar performance that he put in. Just a bit slapdash on one 65. Or two shots, but generally looking good.
Just looking to close this out now. Needs a killer.
66.
And Jimmy Robertson, all he did was break off in this frame.
Yeah, it was just that second frame that was the only real chance he had. But there is, providing this doesn't go in the middle, another opportunity.
66.
But
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
5 reds and 5 blacks in all the colours is the only way you can do it.
He's annoyed though, because that was the end. It's just a glimmer here for Jimmy Robertson.
I mean, looking further afield here, Dave, he might take the 5 reds and blacks, but to clear up with the blue on one side of the table, the pink on the other, on the cushions, it's going to be difficult. But I think for now we'll just think about the reds and the blacks part.
Eight. 9.
He's got a glimpse from that last camera shot that the 2 reds popped to the left middle, and Jimmy Robertson looked into that because he has to make sure that he gets back for the black every time. This makes it easy to do so.
60. 17.
And he just got there with position. He knows that each of these blacks has to drop in, or the match is just about over. That was not intended. Didn't want to go into the blue at that point. So around the houses, perhaps,
24.
from red to his next black, if he wants to keep this chance alive. Through bulk. Avoiding bulk colours. Difficult shot. Well,
25.
He's in trouble now, big trouble. And if he's going to win this frame, the thinnest of thin blacks.
Sullivan missed the blue, which was effectively for victory, but if Robertson misses the black, he'll need 2 snookers.
Jimmy Robertson, 25.
So that's the position. He needs 2 snookers, but O'Sullivan has a chance to pot this red, put himself into the second round. You kind of knew it was going in.
Yes.
1.
Probably an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 for O'Sullivan by his standards, by other people's standards. In the game, just a 9.5. He's missed very few shots he's gone for. Looking up at his pot success,
4,
which is 96%. Well, you're not going to lose many matches
6.
knocking those in. That's pretty good. That's a fair gauge of how he's playing. 96%. He's played 87, and he's got 87 out of 91, and he's still going. So I think very efficient performance, Dave, and always entertaining, never fails.
Absolutely. What he will think of it, we'll find out afterwards. But crowd have been entertaining in the last one. Just ticking past 43 minutes for the whole match. Robertson will look back on the second frame for sure.
18.
But how do you solve a problem like Ronnie O'Sullivan? Many have tried. He's still going strong
24.
at the age of 40, and he's into the second round here in Manchester. Pretty swift call tonight for O'Sullivan. He's got to be happy with that, I think. 4-0, nicely through to the last 64. We'll see him tomorrow. Ronnie O'Sullivan beats Jimmy Robertson 4-0.